This show is so bad that even Angry Joe had to come out and admit that his audience was actually right after he did his first episode review.
Excited, so ridiculous that it's getting completely out of control, and y'all were right.
No, well,
Y'all inside.
Not to that extreme.
I don't know, man. I'm it's losing me, dude.
Oh,
Like
well, yeah,
I'm
great.
fucking
Agreed, but I mean,
I
it's
guess y'all. Well, I mean, so the internet was right and y'all were right because everybody was fucking hating on this show and saying that this show is
Again, like
literally. It just feels.
I'm obviously ending a relationship.
That is so messed up.
But so
Any sort of personal growth, right?
No, I'm not
He's
sure
like,
who I should
he
worry
does
about.
that
The
in the
government.
because he does it every single time.
Was
The
there an
other day.
insurance
What
claim
the other
after
day?
any of the ends are switching identity?
Skip the intro. Just skip the goddamn intro. The show is trash. Capital TRASH trash. All right? And as you can see, even their own characters want to jump the hell out of the window instead of watching this shit. Let's get into it after the drop. All right, team. So before we get into it, you already know we got to do a little bit of housekeeping. We're still on track to hit our goal for 400 subscribers by the end of September. Hit the like button, hit the red subscribe button. Only 95% of you guys are subscribed to the channel, so go ahead, subscribe, then follow me on Twitter and let me know that you're subscribed, and I'm going to follow you back. I'm only following my subscribers, all right? Let's get to it. All right, so She-Hulk Episode 6 review. There's nothing left to say about this show. So basically, so what we pick up, Jen is invited to be a bridesmaid at a wedding from a long lost friend that she hasn't spoken to in years. Where the fuck do they do that at? Like, one of the things that this show does better than any other thing is show you the hypocrisies in some of the ways that these middle-aged, miserable-ass women think. It tries its best to show you how trash men are, but it actually ends up doing the reverse. Some of the things that the women do in this show is fucking ridiculous. You're going to invite a woman to be a bridesmaid to your wedding that you haven't talked to in years, just for her to show up and to not give a fuck about anything she got going on. You invited her knowing that she was the She-Hulk, knowing that she was probably going to show up as the She-Hulk just to tell her, I don't want you to be the She-Hulk. I want to be the center of attention. You are literally displaying all of the negative traits about women that people don't like. Nobody likes a bridezilla. But that's the thing that you wanted to display, because the real thing behind this is women be so in competition with one another that they can't help but complain about one another. So in the show, where they're supposed to be complaining about men the whole time, and they're doing a terrible job of it because all of these men are over the top, unrealistically acting whatevers, that they do a better job at shitting on themselves. But anyway, let's get back into it. So yeah, she goes to this wedding. She makes a promise to the fiance, or wife or whatever it is, that she's not going to be She-Hulk. Meanwhile, we keep going to this B plot with I can't even tell you these girls' names. It's the black girl, and I guess she's Hispanic or something like that, or maybe Indian or something like that. And they're doing a case for this guy named Mr. Immortal, who I think that his concept is hilarious. Pretty much a guy who instead of dealing with his problems, he actually just kills himself. But he's immortal, so he's basically faking his death. And basically he's going through a bunch of divorces. All of his wives found out that he was still alive. And so now they're trying to get settlement money from him and all of this stuff. And so he's talking to the lawyers. And then there's like this ridiculous scene where last I checked, you don't pay lawyers to give you their personal opinions on what the fuck you do with your marriage, but yet they're giving it. They're lecturing him, and so he jumps out of the window and kills himself. The fuck are we doing? The fuck are we doing? Anyway, so Jen meets another guy at this wedding who comes off as nice and all of this, and he's actually interested in her and not She-Hulk. but we see where this is going, right? He's gonna end up being some piece of shit. Why? Because he's a man, and men are not allowed to be good characters in this show. They have to be evil, right? So Titania shows up to the wedding, obviously there to antagonize Jen and all of this, but nobody sees it, even though they were just in a very public lawsuit against each other. But apparently nobody thought about that, right? I guess Jen is just, everything's about her, huh? Right. Anyway, so the inevitable happens. Titania turns up on Jen and sucker punches her. Jen's drunk and shit. And eventually Jen turns into She-Hulk. They fight. Jen whoops her ass because at no point throughout this show has Titania been able to compete with Jen. So there's that. And then the wife, why is this leaving me? I can't think of what this is. Not the bridesmaid, not the groom. You know what I'm trying to say. She comes in and she catches Jen as She-Hulk. And instead of snapping and going off on her and having consequences for her choice to actually turn into the She-Hulk, she's actually like, oh my God, the She-Hulk's at my wedding. And it's like, wait, what the fuck? So you made her promise not to be She-Hulk, and you catch her being She-Hulk, and now you're going to pretend to be excited that She-Hulk's at your wedding? What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? It's very obvious that the people who wrote this show are just middle-aged, miserable, single women who wanted to do nothing more than make a show complaining about their life experiences. That's it. This show is going nowhere. At the end, you kind of get some at the end you get this wannabe Reddit thing that her coworkers are going through, and they're seeing all of these, cancel She-Hulk posts and, alleged death threats. For the record, those are not death threats. Let's get something understood. Those are not death threats, but whatever. It's called intelligentsia. It's obviously supposed to be Reddit, and there's death threats and stuff on there. And at the end, there's like this tease of there might be some like nefarious group behind intelligentsia, and they're actually trying to kill She-Hulk and trying to take her blood or some shit like that. And the simple fact of the matter is, we don't care. We don't care. Everybody who's still watching this show is only here to see Daredevil, and they're bait and switching you. I mean, they literally did it. She did it she broke the fourth wall and told y'all that they're bait and switching you. You thought you was going to see Daredevil, but this is just another wedding episode, or just a wedding episode. And so that's what they're doing. They're dangling Daredevil in your face so that you tune in every week because they know that you only came to see Daredevil. So the show is trash, guys. At one point in the beginning, the show was kind of getting better with each episode, like ever so slightly, but it's been going downhill ever since like episode 3. This show is so bad that even Angry Joe had to come out and admit that his audience was actually right after he did his first episode review.
Excited, so ridiculous that it's getting completely out of control, and y'all were right.
Well,
Y'all excited.
Not to that extreme.
I don't know, man. I'm sorry. It's losing me, dude.
Oh,
Like,
well, yeah,
I'm
agreed.
fucking
Agreed, but I mean,
I
it's
guess y'all. Well, I mean, so the internet was right and y'all were right because everybody was fucking hating on this show and saying that this show is
Again, like
literally. It just feels.
So you tell me. I mean, the show's garbage, man. It's one of the worst, most badly written shows I've ever watched in my life. 3 out of 10. Period. 3 out of 10. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about it no more. I can't get the 30 minutes of my life back. But whatever. You guys let me know what you think. I'm going to go ahead and check out on this one, guys. Deuces.